Good afternoon and welcome to the second quarter edition of Stories from the Street. I'm your host, Mark Monpa, Director of Sales Operations. I'm so excited to be here today with Ben Isbell, who's one of our STG field sales reps. Ben's been with Wolters Kluwer for the last 10 years. He was Rookie of the Year in 2006. Before working or coming to Wolters Kluwer, Ben had a publishing background out of McGraw-Hill. Ben's qualified for 7 out of 9 achievement clubs. The only 2 that he had missed was either from a transfer into another position or from being promoted from where he currently was. Over the last 2 years, Ben has spent his time at over 120%, and I think this year Ben's actually off to a start to make that Pinnacle Award and be the top revenue gainer in the STG group. So welcome, Ben.
Great, good to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me.
So I'm so excited to talk about this deal because I think there's a lot of elements that we're gonna be able to touch on for if you're a research and learning rep, if you're within STG. This deal with Hibbett was $177,000. It was a POS tax portal deal. You were teaming with the research and learning rep. Tell me a little bit about how this all got started.
Yeah, it started about 7 years ago when I was the local field service rep for CCH, selling research and learning. And at that time, we sold them what was back then called a major account of tax research. So we sold them a pretty large bundle of tax research tools. And we've kept in touch throughout the years. We drop an email from time to time just to check in and see what's going on. And we always knew at some point the STG side was going to open up. And so it's been 7 years since we started that. It really comes down to building that relationship with the client. But what happened in this case is it wasn't myself that opened it back up. It was my research and learning rep, Cindy Piedro. She did a great job. She is now the research and learning rep. She was in there selling some additional services, doing a training, and understood that it was going to be opening up the STG side, and that's when she reached out to me. It's really a great story.
What exactly did you guys do to get in with that presentation? What were the issues that Hibbett was having? What were you guys trying to solve?
Yeah, I mean, really at the beginning, we had a couple of discovery calls to really understand what their requirements were, what their issues were. And that's when we pulled in our new partner DMA with the tax interchange for retail. Once we understood what the requirements were around the sales and use tax, some of the compliance issues, some of the technology issues that they had, we were able to really lean on DMA. John Thomas, who is our large corporate market manager, really has a great background to be able to really vet out a lot of those requirements. Yeah. And John did a great job doing that. So after we got done with all of the discovery, we were asked to put together a pretty precise SOW that detailed what the scope of effort was going to look like on our side and what that effort was going to cost. So that was really what they wanted to see up front. And we actually made it all the way through that. We did very, very well, and then we got a couple of hiccups on the references side, but we were able to overcome that.
Yeah, what exactly happened on that front, and what is it that you guys did to overcome it? I mean, not every deal is going to go through just like that, so I'm sure you've got issues.
Yeah, Mark, we really thought we were in a pretty good position about 3/4 of the way through the sales cycle, and we got to the point where they were vetting out references. And because it's a new partnership, we're going to have some hiccups, and that's understandable. So we gave them a reference that did not work out for various reasons. But because they believed in our solution, they believed in what we were showing them, and that they believed it was answering their needs, we were able to work through that and get on site and do a presentation.
Wow. And I know that this deal is actually so fresh, I don't even think the ink is actually dry yet. You just actually closed this past Wednesday. And I know that with that crew that you had out there, obviously you guys were pretty rock solid. How much was the deal?
Yeah, phase 1 of the deal that signed off was $177. That is phase 1. That is the front end and a little bit of the back end. There's a phase 2 which will target their e-com solution, which will be really another big engagement for CCH. There'll be software and there'll be services all around that. But, you hit on something with the team that we had out on site. Can't say enough about John Thomas. Sean Gross, who I report to, came out. Ann Finley was going to be there. She had to back out due to a conflict at the last minute. And then we had our DMA colleagues out there as well. And really, there were 5 of us on site, and we really put on a pretty good show. It was a 3-hour dog and pony show, and by the time we left, everybody was pretty high on the solution.
That's great. So as we think about the teaming that happened on this deal, obviously at a $177,000 deal, there's some serious money out here. What would you say is the top 3 reasons that an STG rep, an R&L rep, a corporate rep should be teaming with their colleague in their respective territory?
Yeah, well, I think all of it goes back to, and it's not rocket science, it's just having a relationship with your research and learning colleagues. That's really got to be the first step before any teaming can take place. So it behooves the research and learning, the STG, the corporate folks to reach out and do that on their own. Once you get past that, we always look at it where the deals are coming into us. Well, that's not entirely true, because the way our solution is set up now, we reciprocate quota back to the research and learning folks. So in this case, Cindy sniffed this deal out. We closed it for $177,000. She's going to get $20,000 towards quota. She's going to get paid on it. That's more than a monthly quota on the research and learning side. So it goes both ways. So obviously the financial side of that is important, but I think from a customer's viewpoint, Mark, that you provide a jointed front. Everybody is coming at this together. Cindy reaches out to me. Cindy's on site with her research and learning trainer. We're in the next week. There's a very strong balance of CCH folks.
That's great. And I even know that you were telling me a little bit earlier that there are other people in Alex's division that have deals with you that are probably going to close here relatively soon.
Yeah, Mark Weiss is on fire. Meg Coonan, Dave Jacob, and I have one that's just right at the finish line. So, yeah, back in 2014, Sean and I, my boss, worked on my business plan. We identified, because my territory is geography, a lot going on, how best to utilize those resources. And really the research and learning folks are the best resource for me. So building that out with those folks and Alex Coleman's team, we're really knocking it out of the park.
That's great. So there you have it, directly from somebody who just closed a $177,000 deal. The fact that teaming actually is out there and it's working is huge. In the meantime, know your space, know your deals, and know your craft. Thank you.